What's up, everybody? Josh Armijo here. I hope everybody's doing good and well and stuff. I got an album review to do for you, and I'm going to be talking to you about the new album from the band Evoken, entitled Hypnogogia. This is released on Profound Lore Records. Now, if you're not too familiar with this band, they are based out of Lyndhurst, New Jersey, and the best way to describe the sound of this band would be a very dark, nihilistic, morbid hybrid of both death metal and funeral doom metal. Yeah. Evoken are without question one of the most important and pioneering bands when it comes to taking two extreme metal genres, blending them together, and creating a sound that is just so distinctive and so powerful. For the past 20 plus years, this band has been putting out some absolute masterpieces, some absolute classic albums within the genre of death and doom metal, and this band continues to make a statement and impact to this very day, from their early demo material to their full-length albums, such as their debut from 1998, Embrace the Emptiness, to later material like Antithesis of Light, and then the last time we had heard something from them back in 2012 with the amazing Atramores. That album was a true game changer and definitely served as one of the best albums in the Evoken discography. I mean, everything about this band seems to bring a certain sense of heightened anticipation and joy when you listen to them. Not so much joy in the fact that there's a lot of despair and sorrow within their lyrical content, but the sense of joy that you appreciate what these guys, these musicians do. They're so amazing at what they do, and it's just awesome to listen to anything Evoken does. So, yeah. When I found out that there was going to be a new Evoken record in 2018, I was very, very at the edge of my seat, ready to hear what this band has been working on since then. But what struck me as interesting is the fact that I believe this is the first Evoken album to be somewhat conceptual. It has somewhat of a World War I sort of feeling, the after effects of dealing with it and what the aftermath is. I'm pretty sure that in tow is what some of the concepts of this record is about. I don't really remember the whole blurb specifically, but there's definitely a World War I sort of vibe going forward with this full-length album, and I was curious to see how they were going to pull something like this off. And now here we are with the sixth full-length album from Evoken, entitled Hypnogogia. Hypnogogia. I probably am pronouncing the album name wrong, and I apologize for that. It's 8 tracks, and it clocks in at around an hour in length. And honestly, after listening to this album a whole bunch, I not only have a newer sort of respect for Evoken for putting out a record this ballsy and this ambitious, but for also putting out what I feel to be the absolute best death doom metal album of 2018, one of the best doom metal albums of 2018, one of the best death metal albums of 2018, and pretty much this is an album that could see itself be album of the year. There's a lot to digest with an album like this, and I really think that Evoken have swung for the fences and hit a big major home run with this album. This album starts off with the track The Fear After. Once you hear the opening keys and then you get to the heaviness that is the guitar riffs throughout this album, you already know what you're going to be in for with such a heavy and well-balanced sort of Evoken record. Musically, this is pretty much what you would expect out of this band to sound like, to have everything be executed. It just feels and is played perfectly. I love these guitar riffs. I love the way every riff sounds. It's beautiful. It's powerful. Everything serves its purpose, and it just sounds wonderful. I mean, later on this album with songs like Valorous Consternation, Tu Feign Ebullience, Ceremony of Bleeding, you just get some really top-notch guitar playing going on throughout this entire album. These riffs are heavy as fuck, and it never lets up. It never holds out. It never holds back. You just get some really phenomenal guitar playing done with this record, even to the more quieter, subdued sort of moments where you just get some really top tier sort of guitar playing going on with this record. It just sounds awesome. The way this album is mixed and produced, it definitely brings out the tightness and the warmness of this guitar playing. It really does sound awesome. The bass work on here is very, very good too. It definitely holds its own amongst the guitar riffs and overall structuring that this album does. And it really does get the job done and sound really heavy. I love the way this bass sounds on this album too. When it comes to the drums, this guy has been the heartbeat of the band. Vince, I believe his name is Vince. He's been the long-running drummer for Evoken, and the way he plays the drums on this album, it just sounds awesome. It's not really slow, methodical doom metal drumming all the time here. You get your fills, you get your double bass, you get a lot of great variety here with this drum performance, and it's just really, really awesome to hear him play the drums the way he does, and does such a phenomenal performance throughout this album. I just love the emotion in this guy's drum performance. It brings out the best throughout this album. Considering a lot of the tracks here are very lengthy, once again going to songs like the opening track, The Fear After, then to Too Faint Ebullience, and The Weald of Perished Man, the closing track of this record. The two longest tracks on this record, the Too Faint Ebullience and The Weald of Perished Man. Really phenomenal drum performances going on with those songs in particular, but overall his drum performance is fantastic. I mentioned earlier that there's keys on this album. That's another thing to point out about an Evoken record, is you can't have an Evoken record without the addition of the atmosphere and the tension with the keyboards and then the violins. It just sounds really, really beautiful. I love those inclusions on this entire record, and they definitely add to the sense of fear, despair, negativity, sadness, all that type of stuff. You get that in perfect spades and amounts with these keyboards and violin parts. It's just really, really fantastic to listen to. And when it comes to the vocals, I love the vocals here. This is pretty much the typical sort of Evoken vocal style, almost spoken and almost calm in a sense, but there's just that certain sense of urgency in these vocals, and they sound fantastic. I love the growls, I love the delivery, I love the pronunciations, I love the way everything is done here with these vocals. And even on the track Ceremony of Bleeding, you get something you really don't hear too often on Evoken records, and that is some singing. I really, really like the singing included on this record. I definitely feel that it's something new, it's something different, and I really appreciate what's being done here with these sort of vocals on this album. I love the way that the singing is on that particular song, but as far as the rest of the growls go, John's vocals sound phenomenal. I love his vocals here. Really one of the better vocal performances for any doom metal record in 2018, and really it's just some very, very deep and powerful stuff. So overall, I definitely think this is one of the best Evoken records in recent times. I definitely feel that this can hold its own against albums like Atramores and Antithesis of Light. This is another Evoken classic, and if you are a fan of this band, you're going to find something phenomenal to enjoy with Hypnogogia. This is definitely one of the best death metal, doom metal albums, period, of 2018, and I definitely cannot recommend this enough. So if I had to think of any personal favorite tracks, I would definitely have to say The Fear After, Schadenfreude is another great track, Too Faint Ebullience, Ceremony of Bleeding is another great track, and the two instrumental tracks, I should say, the two shortest tracks on here are instrumentals, the title track and Hypnopompic. They're both instrumentals, but they both get the job done, and they're both very awesome to listen to. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave you some links in the description box as to how you can get a hold of this album and listen to it. I will leave you the links to some of the songs that are currently streaming on YouTube right now. Valorous Consternation and Ceremony of Bleeding. This album is set to be released on this coming Friday. I'll also leave you a link in the Bandcamp to where you can purchase it digitally or physically. It's also available as a CD and a double LP. definitely keep an eye out for what Evoken does next, because you never know when they're going to come through and hit you with another masterpiece. So, again, the album is Hypnogogia by Evoken. This is released on Profound Lore Records. Definitely check this one out. This is definitely mandatory purchasing. And for a score, I'm going to give this the highest score I can possibly give, and that is a perfect 10 out of 10. Death Doom Masterclass, Evoken are the real deal. So if you happen to have heard this album, definitely let me know what you think about it, how you feel about it, and how you think it compares to previous Evoken releases. Or any of you guys into Evoken, definitely let me know. I'm going to conclude this review. Thanks a lot for watching. Thanks for checking out my channel. And until next time, Army Hell out.